Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope you all are doing well today. Elliot here, and welcome back to The Fragrance Well. Now, if you know me, I am not one to really put like performance and projection or beast mode style fragrances at the top of my list in terms of what I care about from a fragrance. Now, that being said, I definitely recognize the ones I have in my collection. So for you guys who are performance junkies, projection junkies, this list is for you today. Can't guarantee you're necessarily gonna like everything that I have on it, but I do have 9 fragrances for today's list. Every last one of these fragrances, as far as my wearing experience goes, these fragrances are long lasting, so they've got the performance and they project as well. These are scents that I do not feel the need to spray a lot of sprays on to get, maybe that lasting wearing experience or get projection from them. While I may not necessarily go as low as 2 sprays for every fragrance that I have here, I do think every fragrance I've got on this list, you can get by with a 2 spray max. So let's see what I've got on the list, but before we get started, as always, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please hit that bell icon, enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Let's get into it. All right, guys, to get it started, coming from the house of Aoud, this is Silver Birch. Aoud, Silver Birch. All right, so first off, what does this smell like? This is a mostly springtime fragrance, but you could wear it in the summer, particularly if you're not going to be out in the middle of the day and it's like scorching outside. I think it may be a little bit too much of a richness for that, but what you get here is a little bit of a smoky vetiver adding to the birch element. You've got some citrus off the top, a lot of florals in this. I kind of relate it to walking on a wooden beach path next to a beach and it has surrounding florals and botanicals by it, maybe some brushes and things like that. That's kind of how I like to picture what this fragrance smells like in my mind. There is also a little bit of a creamy fig. It's not a very realistic fig, but it has kind of a textural feel to it. I really enjoy the scent. As far as it pertains to the subject matter of this video, this fragrance is very, very strong. For me, indoors, this is 2 to 3 sprays max. I cannot go more than that just for myself alone because I can find it to be overwhelming. So I'm pretty sure other people are picking it up. I've only got 2 Aoud fragrances so far. It does seem like they do make fragrances that project and perform very well. At least that's what it seems like they do. At least that's what I've got out of the 2 I have so far. This one is definitely a really good performer all day long on my skin and projects very nicely. 2 to 3 sprays max. Indoors, if I was going to be outdoors, which I haven't really worn this in that environment yet, you could go up to 5, maybe even 6. But on my skin, I think this can easily be a 12-hour fragrance, if not longer. Once again, from the house of Aoud, this is Silver Birch. All right, next one's coming from the house of Arabian Oud. This is Madawi Gold Edition. Arabian Oud, Madawi Gold Edition. All right, first and foremost, this is a spicy via way of cardamom, and I think there's also a note of black pepper listed. Red fruits and very juicy syrupy pineapple. Lots of vanilla, lots of tonka bean in this. I think there's also some patchouli, but the patchouli is just there to kind of maybe give a little bit of a ground to this fragrance. Overwhelmingly, you're gonna get sweet notes mixing with that juicy pineapple that this fragrance has. This right here, for normal occasions, 2 sprays. I don't think I would ever need to go more than 2 sprays for this for normal occasions. This can be a very nice date night fragrance depending on the date night setting. This could even be a 1 sprayer. This fragrance here easily will last all day, and I do mean all day, up to 12 hours, if not more. I haven't necessarily measured all of these. Definitely projects more than enough. There have been occasions where I think I've maybe have sprayed it 6 times, but I was outdoors and I was playing drums. And after about an 8-hour period, I came home and my wife was like, "Did you just spray something on?" I was like, "Nah, I sprayed that before I left. I was wearing this." It literally filled the room after I had gotten back after playing drums for hours and sweating. So this fragrance here can kind of last through those intense situations, so I know it's a good performer and projector. Once again, from the house of Arabian Oud, this is Madawi Gold Edition. Next one's coming from the house of Maison Crivelli. We have got Patchouli Magnetik. Maison Crivelli Patchouli Magnetik. All right, so with this one here, obviously there is a patchouli element to it. It's kind of a patchouli that is not quite as earthy overall. It's like a lot more leafy, if that makes sense. I think it is an aroma chemical emulating patchouli, but I don't know for sure. It's accompanied with quite a bit of sweetness and a really divisive peach accord, as well as a floral aspect as well. That peach accord, it's not very realistic in this scent, and it does kind of hang around throughout most of the life of the fragrance, so you can understand why it would be a little bit artificial smelling. Obviously, anything that's overly realistic of peach probably wouldn't last that long, but this scent is definitely beast mode. Very divisive in terms of the smell, but it is pretty much universally agreed upon that you're going to get a lot of projection and a lot of longevity out of this scent. For same thing for indoor occasions, maybe 2 sprays I think is all you would need, maybe 3 depending on the situation. Outdoors, of course, you go up more, or, you know, if it's a situation with competing smells, you can turn the sprays up, and I'm talking about for most normal situations. I can't really put a number on how long I think this fragrance has lasted on my skin. I honestly just haven't paid attention to it like that. I haven't worn it that many times yet, but and I put it to the side because it's gotten hot. Granted, I would wear this when it's warm, but not right now. It's a little too intense in terms of the humidity, but you know, it'll get more wears later on in the year for sure. But yeah, this is easily a fragrance that will stick around on your skin. That much I do know. I just can't put a number on it. Once again, from the house of Mason Crivelli, this is Patchouli Magnetik. All right, next one's coming from the house of Lorenzo Pizzaglia. We have got Black Sea. Lorenzo Pizzaglia, Black Sea. All right, so this is an aquatic fragrance. It's a very dark aquatic, a very green-like aquatic, salty notes in this, a little bit of ozonic notes as well. It definitely has that marine smell. I think there's a literal note of algae in this, and also some of those more green notes that are synonymous with aquatic fragrances that are giving you the marine vibe. Quite a bit of ambergris in this as well. It also has a little bit of a powdery facet to it. Overall fragrance is relatively linear. I don't feel like it really shies away from, you know, the way I just kind of described it. But one thing is for sure about this scent, it is a beast mode fragrance. Another one that on a normal day, 2 to 3 sprays is all I would really need. And I've tested that in a few occasions where I've worn it to work and I only had maybe 2 to 3 sprays on, and people have commented on the scent, so I know they were at least able to pick it up. So this one does project nicely. I wouldn't necessarily call it a room filler, but it will push off of your skin fairly well. Sillage on this is very, very strong. If you go into a space, this stuff is going to stick around, will last on your skin all day long. A little bit of a side story, this residually got on my rain jacket well over a month ago at this point. My rain jacket still clear as day, smells like this fragrance to the point where it is actually still projecting off the jacket a little bit. If I wave it around, I can pick it up in the air. So this stuff also, watch it if it gets on your clothes. It might be kind of hard to get out. Now granted, I haven't washed that jacket, but I'm just saying. Once again, from the house of Lorenzo Pizzaglia, this is Black Sea. All right, next one's coming from the house of Orto Parisi. This is Megamare. Orto Parisi Megamare. Now I imagine a lot of you already know about this fragrance, particularly for how strong it is. The scent alone is, I don't know if I would call it divisive, but I mean, it's not going to be the greatest smell you've ever smelled. It is a pleasant one. Obviously no official notes given, but there is a listed note on Fragrantica of Calone, which kind of has a watery, fruity smell, kind of synonymous with watermelon. If that is in here, I wouldn't be surprised because it does have that smell and it is strong. They used a lot of it if that is in here. Overall, kind of a clean aquatic smell as well. Probably a lot of ambroxan, does kind of have that woody musky feel, which, you know, also that's a fragrance ingredient that's used to increase longevity. Well, it's not used specifically for that, but it does have good longevity. So this is a relatively new one to my collection. It's actually my scent of the day today. Now this is the first time I've actually worn this under normal conditions, if I'm not mistaken. And let me just say, I sprayed this on, I think like 10:30, 11 a.m. this morning. As of right now, it is just past 8 o'clock. While it's not necessarily pushing off my skin anymore, I could still pick it up. I did two sprays just behind the ears, and it was kind of really overwhelming my senses earlier on in the day. So I was like, I might need to spray this from now on, a little bit further away from my nose. But I could pick it up easily. I can still pick it up now if I kind of move around. And also I did wear this one time to a gig. So same thing where I was just out there for hours. It was really, really hot. I think I sprayed it maybe 4 times, came home, wife picked it up easily, and to the point where she thought maybe I had just sprayed it. So it shouldn't be a surprise because a lot of people already kind of know about this one being a beast mode scent, and I can confirm that with my own experience thus far. Once again, from the house of Orto Parisi, this is Megamare. All right, next one's coming from the house of Xerjoff, and this is 40 knots. Xerjoff 40 knots. All right, so this one, I guess you could throw it in the aquatic category. I guess I gave you 3 aquatics in a row, but all of them very different. This one's more ambery overall, a little bit sweeter than the other two, to a degree, a little bit sweeter than the other two. Has this honey note given as one of the notes. It also has kind of this sea breeze kind of feel. I think there's a note given of sea breeze, but it does kind of have this airy, almost ozonic sea air kind of feel, but in a clean way, not necessarily that green or salty. I don't find this to really be too salty, but it's very ambery for sure. So it's more of an ambery aquatic, which makes it kind of a weird take on an aquatic. Does have some similarities to Ombre Nuit, but it does go its own way. All right, so beyond all that, this fragrance here easily lasts all day on my skin. It projects very nicely under normal circumstances. Max, I would probably go 4 sprays with this, and I think that's actually pushing it. Again, I say normal circumstances. Circumstances where, I maybe need a little bit more push off the skin because of competing smells or outdoor environments, sure, I'll turn up the sprays. But anytime I've worn this and I've gone kind of minimal with the sprays, I've had no problem picking it up throughout the day, all day. Haven't worn this in a while. I might need to make this my scent of the day tomorrow. I've kind of put this one aside since I've gotten a lot of new fragrances since I acquired it. Once again, from the house of Xerjoff, this is 40 knots. Next one's coming from the house of Thameen. This is Amber Room. Thameen London Amber Room. I didn't realize I'm using like a lot of similar scents here. So similar to 40 knots, this also has its ties rooted in Dior Ombre Nuit. But again, they do their own thing with it. But this one here, you're gonna just basically call it a rose and patchouli fragrance, which is what Ombre Nuit is. This one has maybe a little bit of a heavier spice profile, a little bit of citrus off the top, some grapefruit-like accords in there, loads of patchouli in this, as you would expect in a rose patchouli fragrance. And this is another one where I wore it like 4 sprays and went and did some business with my wife, and somebody said, hey, I can smell that very well. And I was like, okay, so I'm actually filling up the room with this fragrance. I probably sprayed it too much. So next time I wear this under normal circumstances, we're gonna reduce that spray count down to 2. Very nice projector here. Easily last all day long on my skin. I do not own Dior Ombre Nuit, but I have heard that one doesn't necessarily have the best performance overall. And again, that's not really that important to me. I still want to get Ombre Nuit. I think it smells amazing. But let's just say you want a version of that has the performance, or maybe you need the performance for something. This will certainly give you that, as well as 40 knots. Obviously, these are going to be alternatives to Ombre Nuit. They don't quite smell just like it. They just kind of, I would say, take some inspiration from it. But this one here projects and performs. Once again, from the house of Thameen, this is Amber Room. All right, next one's coming from the house of Nishane. This is Fan Your Flames. Nishane, Fan Your Flames. All right, so, honestly, a lot of these houses I featured today, they all have multiple fragrances that can perform and project very nicely. So I'm obviously just kind of picking one, but I definitely want to go with this one because under normal circumstances, 3 sprays is really all I need. The problem is I just like to spray this one more, but I know if I'm going somewhere where I don't want to be too loud with the scent, I have to turn it down. This is a coconut, rum-soaked tobacco fragrance. Has a very dry feel to it, a lot of dry cedar-like wood smell to the fragrance. Very leafy, clean tobacco, but mixing with that rum and that coconut, giving a little bit of a tropical vibe. I really do love this scent. And great thing about it, if you want something that will last, this one will do it. It does project very nicely as well. Anytime I've worn this, I've easily gotten, maybe 12 or more hours. Again, I don't necessarily time it every time I wear the fragrance, but anytime I've worn this, I've always noticed it's still on my skin well, late into the day. So I know for sure that this one will perform very nicely and does have pretty good projection for a good portion of the fragrance's existence. So once again, from the House of Nishane, this is Fan Your Flames. All right, and the final fragrance for this list coming from the House of Mancera. This is Aoud Lemon Mint. Mancera Aoud Lemon Mint. And once again, another house where many of them, not all of them, but many of them are known to give you some projection and performance if you want it. So this one, the name is actually a pretty decent name, especially since I've had this bottle for a while now. It used to be very screechy when I first sprayed it, but now that has since calmed down quite a bit as the bottle has matured a little bit. You definitely get lemon, kind of a candied lemon in my opinion. You definitely get mint, same thing. Very much a candied kind of mint, not a very realistic mint smell to this. You get quite a bit of leather in the dry down. There is an oud in this, and it's more of that medicinal style, but it's kind of in the background with this one. I would say, if you're getting a Mancera fragrance where you want the oud to be a little bit more forward, this is not gonna quite be it. And maybe more of a kind of a musky, woody feel to the dry down, but overwhelmingly more so vanilla and leather. That's kind of what I get. In terms of the base of this fragrance, I'm sure those of you who are familiar with this scent know that this one projects and performs easily. Normal circumstances, I'll be honest, I've never worn it at this low of a spray count, but 3 sprays, honestly, maybe even 2. Mainly because I don't really wear this under normal circumstances. I wear it when I'm outside doing stuff. But for a regular day, this is probably a 2 spray fragrance. It projects very nicely. It certainly performs very nicely as well. Easily a 12-hour scent, I think. At least it is on my skin, particularly with the high amounts of like vanilla that are in this fragrance. So it sticks around. Once again, from the House of Mancera, this is Aoud Lemon Mint. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Let me know down in the comments below if you are a fan of projecting and performing fragrances. Look, I already know the answer. Most of you guys are, because that's just the way it is. Most people like fragrances that last. Let me know some of your favorites down in the comments below, as well as let me know which ones maybe give you the most projection and most performance at the same time. Thanks for watching all the way into the end. Really do appreciate you guys. Please remember to be well and smell well, and I'll see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.